big dubs. Welcome back to the Defending Football Show. Thank you so much for watching. That's right, I'm feeling better, and you know who else is feeling better? The DC Defenders, baby. Week 2 was a very exciting one in the UFL. A lot of interesting things happened, so let's go over these games. Starting off the week, the your DC Defenders, win 44-26 against the Columbus Aviators. What a game it was. It had pretty much everything you want. Lots of points, a lot of running the ball, interceptions, you have fumbles. You got 2 fumbles on 1 play. What a fun game to watch, and I'm so happy that DC got in the win column this week. If you're a fan of the show, you know that means we get to add a lemon, our first lemon, to the show this year. There we go. I guess that's where it's going to be. Every win the Defenders get, I'm going to add a lemon to the show, and if we lose, I take a shot of lemon juice. As you guys know, I had to do that last week while I was sick, so that's kind of messed up, but I'm very happy to add a lemon to the show finally. Alright, this game was in Columbus, the second road game in a row for DC, and what did we decide to do? Run the damn ball over and over and over and over and over again. Ran the ball for 230 yards and 4 touchdowns. That's from 5 rushers on 36 attempts. Deion Jackson, 11 attempts, 97 yards, and 3 touchdowns alone. Abram Smith, look, he's back, 7 for 40. Eric Izukanma, I believe is how you say it, 2 for 37 yards. And Xavier Valade, 9 carries, 36 yards, and a tutty. Not to mention Jordan Ta'amu, 7 rushes for 20 yards on top. I mean, dang, the team overall averaged 6.4 yards per play on the ground. Columbus could not stop the run, and we ran all the way with the victory. I mean, what a game. 44 points up is pretty crazy with only 1 passing touchdown. Speaking of the quarterback stats, Jordan Ta'amu, not even 100 yards. He hit 99 with a touchdown and a very bad pick, in my opinion. But he did have basically a 73% completion percentage, which is very good. He went 8 for 11, so only 11 attempts. I mean, he didn't give you much, but he really didn't have to. We're running the piss out of the ball. McClendon had 156 yards, 2 touchdowns, a pick, and 62% completion. Jalen Morton also came in to throw 1 pass, and it was a pick to end the game to Gabe Taylor. Fan favorite. Gabe Taylor is awesome. Really cool to see that at the end of the game. Hopefully, he gets more this year. The true story of this game was that the Aviators could just not stop us on offense running the ball. That's pretty much it. They couldn't stop the run at all. Now, the DC defense honestly gave up some big plays too. Some undisciplined stuff once again. Got to get that cleaned up. I know we live on the edge, play on the edge. But you can't hurt the team. Remember that. Not really much in the receiving game, obviously, for DC. Cornell Powell, welcome back to the squad, baby. 4 catches, 41 yards, and a pretty beautiful one on his first catch. And then the Aviators, Tay Martin, 6 receptions, 56 yards, and a tutty. DC did good enough on defense to keep them on their heels. And honestly, they got a few garbage time touchdowns. DC pretty much dominated the whole time. A lot of crazy things happened. A double fumble. But Sam Kidd also had a pick, so shout out to Sam Kidd. Guess what? UFL Player of the Week on defense there. He played great. I think he had 7 tackles as well as solos. So Sam Kidd is playing out of his mind, and I'm so glad to see that. I'm just so proud of the boys. I'm so hyped to go to DC next week. I'm so hyped to be at the first home game this year. As you guys know, I have season tickets. I'm going to try to be at every single game. Barring catastrophe, I should be there. So if you're there, hit me up before we go in, baby. Alright, enough of that game. It was a fantastic game. If you haven't seen the highlights, go check it out. DC whooped some Columbus ass. Moving on to the next game of the week. Louisville, why do you do it to me, man? They take the loss 19-9. Orlando Storm beat the Louisville Kings. I've been rooting for the Kings so hard, but yet they cannot deliver it, man. This game was a roller coaster of emotions. Honestly, some pretty defensive, interesting football in the mix, but at the end, it just was crazy. So Jason Bean just was not playing well, flat out, just was not playing well this game. Chandler Rogers comes in, and honestly, I thought he looked pretty good. But of course, what happens when they need a game-winning drive? He throws a pick, almost a pick 6, makes the game-saving tackle at like the 2 or 3 yard line. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, Anthony Beck gets away with another win. I feel like the Storm really aren't as good as they're coming off as. And then what does Jack Plummer do? He throws a pick in the end zone. What are you doing? So that made that game super interesting, but they threw Jason Bean in for the end, and then the game was pretty much over. I mean, overall, I think Chandler Rogers showed me something. He played pretty well in rhythm, and he was very decisive besides that one huge mistake. So, I don't know. Louisville, you got to figure your stuff out here. And the Kings, man, they can't run the ball. 26 yards on the ground for the Kings. 26 yards. That is abysmal. That's absolutely ridiculous. They couldn't run it last week. They can't run it this week. On the flip side, Orlando rushed for 89 yards, which is not too bad. But I do want to give some credit to Jack Plummer. You know, he's showing up and playing a lot better than I thought. He had 182 yards, 2 touchdowns, and that crazy pick he should have not thrown. We did see a little bit of Dorian Thompson-Robinson, but it was short-lived because Plummer was hurt, came back in. And, you know, I don't know how the fans felt about that. I think they want DTR in there, but Jack Plummer's getting wins. So, as far as receiving, the only guy that really popped off was KJ Hamler. 59 yards and a touchdown with a crazy play. I'd really like to see them stack up against one of the higher teams, in my opinion. But, of course, they play the Kings again this week. So, I guess we'll see what happens. Overall, pretty entertaining game when it came to the fourth quarter. Besides that, a little bit of boring football. I need Louisville to score some dang points, man. Come on. Ooh, game 3 was spicy, guys. The Stallions versus the Houston Gamblers. Honestly, the best rivalry we got from the USFL. Probably the only rivalry we will have from the USFL for a while. Gamblers win 22-20. I think this was battle of, just coaching expertise. I think the better coach won. If you really watched this game, right? The Gamblers were going up and down the field at will, but could not score a touchdown to save their life. They kicked like 5 field goals, maybe 6. Matt Corral played pretty good, statistically. 226, 2 touchdowns, and 78% completion percentage. The only problem, 2 picks. Why are you throwing picks every week, man? Let's go. Jeez, it's hard to watch sometimes. On the other side, Nolan Henderson played pretty good. He played a clean game. Jalen White really showed out for the Houston Gamblers. 82 yards and a touchdown on the ground. So he played very well for them. And you know what? Honestly, if you watch the game, right, the Stallions, they couldn't stop the run. They couldn't do it. They were getting pounded over and over and over again. You could tell this Stallions team is not what they used to be. They're very talented, but as I said in the beginning of the season, you know who else was talented? The Showboats in 2024. You gotta prove it on the field. The whole time I was watching this game, I wanted the Gamblers to win, but they couldn't score touchdowns. And I'm like, this is going to bite you. This is going to bite you over and over and over again. And finally, they score a touchdown. And the last drive of the game, man, was it a crazy drive? Definitely one to remember. You had 2 coaches' challenges. Both worked. One pinned back the Gamblers on a 4th and long, and then Nolan Henderson throws a strike, gets the first down. A few plays later, the Gamblers challenge for pass interference. They get it. They get into field goal range. And guess what? They nail it to win 22-20. This has got to be an instant classic or something, guys. That was just a great game to watch in week 2. And then the last game, Tuesday Night Football. What are we doing? This game was the reason why this episode came out so freaking late, man. It messed up my whole week schedule, and now I got to make this video quick after this game. The Battlehawks lost 15-31. Renegades beat up on the Battlehawks 31-15. It wasn't even close. The Battlehawks decided to win their Super Bowl last week against DC in a meaningless game in week 1 and forgot, oh wait, there's 9 more weeks of football. So how about we wake up? Man, this game was a snooze fest when it came from the side of the Battlehawks offense. I mean, constant drops, miscommunications. You have Hakeem Butler. He made some plays, but man, the miscommunications are crazy on this offense. Is it possible that Brandon Silvers just doesn't have it anymore, or the A.J. Smith offense has been totally figured out? Silvers, 186, a touchdown, 2 picks. 56% completion is not going to cut it either. On the other hand, the Wonder Kid, Austin Reed, this guy is hilarious. He's awesome. 240 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 1 pick. 61% completion percentage as well, but man, this guy was a treat to watch. Having him mic'd up is absolutely cinema. He's hilarious, seems like a great guy, and he's got a new fan, honestly. Day-Day Hunter ran pretty well, 67 yards for the Renegades. Hakeem Butler came back, 4 for 66. But Tyler freaking Vaughns, man. 11 catches, 146 yards, 3 touchdowns. Give him the hat trick. He's got to win Offensive Player of the Week. The Renegades are legit, and that's going to be reflected in my power rankings. Let's go over the power rankings. Starting from the bottom, we got number 8, the Columbus Aviators. Come on, guys. Moving down 1, originally I had them at 8. I bumped them up last week, and guess what? They're back down. And look at that. They are on a cold streak. They're definitely on a cold streak, just not playing good enough. I almost gave it to the Kings, too. I almost did a double cold streak this week, but I didn't. I think the Kings kept it close enough, but they're on thin ice. You like that? Speaking of the Kings, they're at number 7, all right? They moved down 1. I mean, what are we doing? You scored 9 points. You got to get in the end zone. You got to produce something on offense. I think your defense is pretty solid, middle of the league at least. So we got to score points. Let's get that offense moving. Come on, let's go. The Stallions moved down 1 as well to 6. Just not impressed. I'm just not really that impressed. I see the talent. It comes in spurts, but it's super inconsistent. I don't know what it is, what they got to do. Maybe back to the basics. I'm not sure here. Jumping up 3 spots. This is the biggest rise in the week is the Houston Gamblers. Yes, I had them at 8, so that's why they moved up so much. If they can just fix their red zone woes, they'll be pretty good, man, and they'll be a true contender, but I got to see it to believe it, so I'm not putting them too high, keeping them at 5 for now till I see more. St. Louis Battlehawks, the biggest drop of the week, down 3 from 1 to 4. I thought this defense was unstoppable, and I thought this offense was going to get unlocked with Hakeem Butler. Neither is true. Battlehawks defense folded like a lawn chair, and their offense basically didn't give them any help at all, which is pretty tough, to be honest. The honeymoon is over for Ricky Prohl, and now he's got to get back to work. At number 3, the Orlando Storm. They move up 1 spot by default just because the Battlehawks moved down. Do I really think they're a top 3 team in the league? I guess. Look, they're 2-0, so you got to give them respect, but who have they really played, right? If they run into the Renegades or DC, that's going to be a good game because I want to see what happens. At number 2, the DC. Your DC Defenders, I should say. I got to say that. Moving up 1 spot. Yes, come on, guys. We scored 44 points, and Tamu didn't even hit 100 yards passing. Obviously, I want to see him pass more, but if we don't have to, why even worry about it? How do you score 44 points without throwing for 100 yards? Incredible. There's something there. We still got it. We just got to unlock all of it. Slow starts. And at number 1, you got the hot streak, all right? The Dallas Renegades. I can't not put them at 1. That would be mad disrespect. Renegades proved it. They're probably the best team in the league right now. But DC's up there. I want to see that game so bad. I can't wait for that one. But the Renegades just straight up look the best. I mean, it's pretty obvious. They're at a different speed than almost everybody else. Going through the list real quick. Aviators at 8 on a cold streak. Kings at 7. Stallions at 6. Gamblers number 5. Battlehawks are at number 4. Storm crawled to number 3. Defenders at 2. And the Renegades hot streak at 1. Let me know what you guys think about the games this week. Are you going to be in DC for the home opener? And then what would you change about my power rankings? Let me know down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm going to get out of here. And for the love of football, defend football, baby.